guys, welcome back to the Homestead Fam. My name is Mel and I am going to show you how we are going to twine our tomatoes today and support them using one single piece of twine, some tomato clips, and a garden staple. So make sure to subscribe, like, and let's get right into it. First things first is we have to put up some supports to tie the twine to. Now we are using a couple of extra metal poles that we had left over from building this greenhouse itself, so it will look very nice because it is the poles that are already on the ceiling. But you could use a lot of different things. You could use like PVC pipe, some wood, some different dowels of some sort. And really all you need to make sure is that it can support the weight of a tomato and that the twine can get tied to it. Now that those are up, we are just using some zip ties to secure it to those other metal bars. And we are obviously using 2 poles here because we have 2 rows of tomatoes, but you can kind of customize this to any space that you have. Now obviously we are doing these inside of our greenhouse, but you can also do this if you don't have a greenhouse. All you will have to do is create some sort of support that replicates this process. The easiest way I've seen people do this is running a couple pieces of wood on either side of your tomato rows and then running another piece of wood on top of those.
This is already open?
Okay, so now that we have this lovely bar up, I'm going to show you how we are going to attach the twine to the top and to the base of the tomato. And we will have to cut them and staple them to the bottom, and then we will secure them all with these handy dandy tomato clips. These are so easy. They're just like a one-handed little clip. Oops. And you can also one-handed unclip them as well. So you can clip and unclip. So easy, and they're very inexpensive. I will link all of the materials I'm using in the description below, but I think I got like a package of like, I don't know, hundreds of them for like 15 bucks. So definitely don't skimp out on these because they are also reusable. Okay, so what I'm going to start doing is I'm just going to take my twine and I'm going to start going down this beam up there and start stringing some twine all the way down to the bottom and tying it off at the top and the bottom. I'm now down to the bottom, so I'm going to take this staple and I'm going to put it behind my tomato because I want the tomato to be in the front and the twine to kind of be in the back. And I'm going to just press this down in and then tie the twine to the staple. All right, one done, 27 to go. I got one side finished and now we're gonna head on to the next, but I did realize something when I was doing this that will make it a lot easier for you guys when you try it yourself. So instead of doing these all one at a time and tying the twine off at the top and then tying the same piece of twine at the bottom to your garden staple, I realized halfway through that it was going to be much easier to tie everything off on the top first and then move to everything on the bottom. This saved me a lot of trips of going up and down, and it was just a lot quicker. I'll bring you in here to give you a closer look at how I'm actually tying these off to the staples and then putting them in the ground. So first I'm going to put the twine around the top and then I'm just pressing them in just a little bit down until they're like a ½ inch out of the ground. I'm tying them off pretty tight and then I'm going to tighten it the rest of the way by pushing it down even further to make it nice and tight. Okay, now that we have all of our twine hung, we are going to go in with our tomato clips and clip the base of our stem to this twine. And then while we do this, we'll also prune anything that needs to be pruned along the way. So on these tomato clips, there's this little part right here. That's where your twine is gonna go in, and it's gonna hold it there so it doesn't flop up and down. And then you're gonna be able to clip it just with one little touch. And then you can also unclip them fairly easy too. Maybe. There we go. Okay, so we are going to put the little triangle part back there into the twine, and then go ahead and clip to the base of the tomato plant. Now these aren't terribly tall yet, so I won't have to put a ton on, but I'll show you how I'm going to prune these as well. Here's our first flowering part, the fruit, and that's actually kind of low. Sometimes I'll like snip those off so that they kind of start higher, but I am gonna go ahead and trim this branch off, and this one as well, to allow some air circulation and prevent pests. And then I'm not gonna trim any actual branches off, which are the ones that come out at a 90-degree angle from the stem that are above the fruit, but I can trim the suckers. So I'll twist this plant a little bit so you can see. So this is the branch, this is the sucker that comes out at the 45-degree angle, and then this is the main stem. So suckers don't really do anything for us, so we are going to take those off, and we will put another one up this stem right here. And we will keep doing that as we come out and they keep growing. We will keep going like that all the way up, making sure that they have plenty of airflow and that they are sturdy and good to go. Here's just a little glimpse for you of what they look like when they are all finished. Tomatoes can get pretty unruly if you don't support them and prune them properly. And as you can see, this method keeps them very neat and controlled. And it's also great if you don't have a ton of space. There you have it, about an hour and a half later, and we have our supports for our tomatoes up. Very simple, very inexpensive. And let me know if you try it. Make sure to subscribe, like, and we will see you for the next one.